I could have ordered a pair of replacement parts for 25 bucks off Amazon. I didn't. And honestly, that was the whole point. ASA is a material that I've been wanting to print for quite some time. I never tried it before with my old 3D printer because I knew it couldn't handle it. It can be finicky printing, but I wanted to learn it and I thought, hey, why not do it on a real part that I can use? This little piece, actually not this one, but this piece like this one, fell off my truck sometime during the winter, and I would look at the back of it and just, it bothered me. It didn't look good. So I decided to make a new one. I was hoping I could get away easy here because the cap on the driver's side was still there. So here I'm removing that cap. And of course, you know, it's never the first bit you try, it's always the last bit. So here I am kind of going through the different bits, trying to find the right one. And of course, like I said, it's always the last bit. The cap came off relatively easy, and I was hoping I was going to get lucky and that they were symmetrical and it would match on the other side, but no, it's completely opposite, so it doesn't match. So I had to go and design a new one. So I got the piece. This is from the truck, and I've noticed a few things on here. What I would normally do for something like this is I would take it, and I got this really nice thing here. I'll put a link to it. It's called a Fusion Buddy. And I would put it in here. And then I would put my phone on here like so and line it up to take a photo. But the problem is it's not actually flat on this side. So it rocks. I don't know if you can see that there on camera, but it rocks. So it's not going to give me a super accurate size. So what we got to do is we will be taking a picture of something again just to get it in there. To get this stuff from the dollar store. I don't know what it's called, poster board or whatever. But I'm going to put this on, and I'm just going to trace the outside of it with a Sharpie marker, because that side sits flat. So, and that's also the crucial side. That's the side we need. So not a bad tracing. Not super happy how that little piece traced in there. So we're just going to fix it, put a little mark there so I know I need to cut that piece out. Cut it out, I want to cut it out on the inside of that marker line. And that'll give me the most exact part. Now, if I'm out by a few inches here, it's not going to be a big deal. It's still going to fit. Looking at the part like this, and even when I'm doing this, it's where I start thinking about how I'm going to do this in Fusion. And we're going to use Fusion for this one instead of Onshape. Just seems that more people have Fusion. I'm by no means a Fusion expert. I'm much quicker on Onshape right now. A little bit of arts and craftsy there. There's our piece. We compare it to here. And pretty dang accurate. Now the beauty of this is, this piece like here, this is for the driver's side, but I need it also for the passenger side. That's the one I actually need. So if I take it and I put it like this, that's going to fit into the passenger side. So I'm going to mark on here front. I'm set up here for a photo. What this does is it's holding it perfectly level. And the reason why it's holding it perfectly level is now when I take this into Fusion, or actually I got to do a few more steps before I get to Fusion, but I know that it's perfectly level. So the size isn't going to change too much by it being off kilter. That's why I also like to have that little reference square in there, because I know that reference square is going to be 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters, and I'm going to use that to put this at the right scale before I start drawing on it. So I lost some footage here. Basically what I do is I take the image into Photoshop and I remove the background, and then I just fill the two objects with black. That makes it really easy. From there, I take it to Illustrator and I trace it, do an image trace, and export it in SVG. If you guys want to see those steps and how I do it, leave me a comment, and in a future video, I'll walk it through step by step. I am by no means a Fusion expert, but this is kind of how I reverse engineer parts. So once I get it in there, I delete all the lines that make it look like a page, and then I measure that square. And that's going to be important later. I know that's 50 millimeters by 50 millimeters, so I'm going to use that in my scaling later on. When I measured it here, I write down the measurements. It was like 171 millimeters by 171.6, which is pretty close, and I'll use that later in scaling. So the next part of this is to just simply go through and trace the image. I'm using the spline tool here and whatever other geometry I can use. And basically I want to have this in a Fusion format so I can edit it and clean up the curves and whatnot. So here we go, just tracing around here. And I don't know if there's a faster way to do this, please let me know in the comments. But this is how I do it in Fusion. And I go through here. At this point, I just want to test. So what I did is I made a small piece that I'll use for a test here. Because I haven't printed with ASA and it's a little bit more expensive filament, I just printed out a quick little reference piece out of PLA. And you know, it fit perfect, it was awesome, a little bit small. So I thought, hey, okay, well, if it's a little bit small, I'm gonna make it a fair bit bigger. And I did, and when I made this one a little bit too big, but it was a good test. When I went to put it in, hammered it on and didn't break. So what I'm doing here is I'm drawing the top part, and I'm just using geometry. I'm using some circles and then some of my constraints to basically draw that outer oval shape. Made a little bit of a mistake here. It's a little bit big by about 1 millimeter, but the beautiful thing is, since I did this in Fusion, it'll be really easy to resize when I go and make the custom one later. So at this point here, I am pretty much done. I just got to clean up a few lines and everything. And now I'm going to extrude it. And what I didn't do on this one that was on the factory one was put that curve on the back end. And there's a reason for that, because in a future revision here, I plan to do a bit of a customation and I need that face flat. But we're going to keep that a secret for now. That's going to be a later video, hopefully, and should look pretty good. Okay, now that I got it pretty much drafted, it's time to 3D print. And I can't say enough about this Bambu P1S, hashtag not sponsored, as Blondie Hacks would say. Printed out amazing. So here I am installing it, and took a little bit to make it fit, but as you can see, it fit really well. And to top it off, I'm just holding it in there with a stainless steel screw, replacing the basic plated screw they had before, because at least the stainless steel won't rust and it'll be easy to take out in the future. Overall, it fit really good. It's a little bit big on the edge, as you can see, but we will fix that later. Got the piece in the truck. I've actually taken it a couple highway trips since the piece is in there, and it's working fine. Needs to be refined a little bit. Don't worry, I have that planned for the future. I'm gonna actually do a customization one, and that'll be coming up sometime in the future. If you stuck around this long, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.